What money? Women rarely give men money. Notice you said rarely and not never. I am apparently one of those rare cases, although I would disagree. I know a lot of women who have financially supported men or who have taken care of everything in their lives other than work so that all they have to do is work, which honestly doesn't sound like a bad gig to me. To be completely honest, I would not mind being someone's husband and just focusing on work and having my wife, take care of all the appointments and the bills and the children and the pets and her own job and whatever the fuck else, all the cleaning and the cooking. Anyway, but I wouldn't do that because I like the partnership to be equal, which is why I've ended up financially supporting or taking the load financially off of 3 out of 5 of the relationships I've been in. Relationships with men. Now, I haven't really thought through this. I just saw the comment and felt like making an example out of you. So I guess the easiest way to do it is to just go down the roster of the 5 relationships I've been in. My first relationship was a 5-year relationship from the time I was 21 to 23 with one guy. I lost my virginity to that guy. I did everything for the first time just about with that guy. And he made more money than me, and he didn't want me to work, but I wanted to work because I think it's important for everyone to have their own money, and we weren't married, so I wasn't expecting him to give me some kind of an allowance, and I like working, okay? Working is cool and fun sometimes. But in that first relationship, and I misspoke, we started dating when I was 18, we stopped dating when I was 23, I lost my virginity to him at 21. That's why I got all mixed up. Anyway, not important. The important thing is in that relationship, he didn't want me to work, and I did, and I am glad that I did, because when that relationship did end for very legitimate reasons, including personal safety, if I hadn't worked, I would have no money and nowhere to go. Because at first, it was very you can't leave. And then it was, get the fuck out right now, since apparently we're not fixing this. So I got kicked out of the house with very little time to get my shit together. Thankfully, I already had my shit together. So I get a 1-bedroom apartment, I'm doing my own thing, and I end up getting with a guy that I had a one-night stand with. And he was definitely a rebound relationship. He did make less money than me. We were together for a little over a year. I ended up paying off his medical debt, which was $8,000, because I wanted us to have a good, clean slate foundation for us getting our own place and doing our live things. And then he cheated on me with his ex, who was mean to me. And one way she was mean to me was making fun of me while I was doing a charity function where I was singing. Her and her friend, who was also his ex, were making fun and laughing while I was singing for charity. Great people. Fantastic choices. So I left him and I let him continue to live with me because he threatened to kill himself, and I didn't want that to happen. And I knew that he financially couldn't live on his own. So I let him live with me. And then the next partner I had also lived with me. I ended up buying a house for all of us and moving both of them into it. I paid the 20% down on the house, and then they lived in it, and they paid 1/3 of the mortgage so that it was even at that point. Then the second boyfriend moved out to go date a friend of mine, and he wanted to buy her some things, so he stole $2,000 from me out of the money that he had started to pay me back. So we were back to an $8,000 loan, basically, because I wasn't charging him any interest. If this doesn't make sense, feel free to ask questions. But basically, I loaned him $8,000. I didn't charge him any interest ever. He paid back about $2,000 of it, and then when he moved out, he stole $2,000, so he's back at $8,000. And then I couldn't trust him to pay me back at all because the money would go missing, so he just paid my phone bill for years to almost pay me back for the $8,000. So I'm still not understanding what you're talking about with money, because clearly I'm the one that's being financially stupid in these situations. So then the third boyfriend cheats on me too, but with 5 different people and people we don't know. And it was very weird where he would tell them oh, Alex knows that we're seeing each other, and she's fine with it, but she doesn't want you to talk to her about it. And then whenever he'd be tired of the person he was cheating on me with, he'd go, hey, so Alex thinks that we're getting too close, so she wants us to not see each other anymore. I'm sorry, I tried to talk to her, but... And literally people would block me over that. And I would go, hey, why did Lola block me? And he'd go, I don't know, honey, I'll try to talk to her. Oh, yeah, I don't know what you did, but she's really upset. I don't know. Mind fuck. So we dated for 2 years and then broke up. And then the fourth guy I dated actually made more money than me. So the first guy I dated and the fourth guy I dated are the only men that I've ever dated that made more money than me. Or who worked harder than me. And I will say, I think that the fourth guy I dated works harder than me, definitely. He works harder than most people. I offered to pay rent at my fourth partner's house because I was staying there a lot, and he wouldn't let me because I had my own mortgage, which I thought was super nice. Then we break up because it's just not going to work out. We're vastly different ages. He was 18 years older than me. I wanted marriage and children at the time. He didn't. And we just had different wants and needs. So we decided we were better as friends. Then the fifth relationship was definitely the worst one I've ever been in, and the most abusive one I've ever been in. I've never actually feared for my life in a relationship more often than in that one. There were at least three or four different times where I thought, oh fuck, I need to have 911 dialed on the phone right now. I need to be ready to grab something to use as a weapon, or I need to be able to run out of the house right now, so I should probably put pants on. Like it was very much that kind of a thing. And that one was also the most financially abusive one for me because a bunch of things. But I started off the relationship stupidly because I bought him a $10,000 gift. Because I thought that we were going to get married and that we were going to be together forever. This is a common thing for me. Every time I'm in a serious relationship, it's because I think that we're going to get to forever, that's what's going to happen. So I just put my whole heart and my whole effort into everything. And then it bites me in the ass. So I started it off wrong by buying a massive gift. You probably shouldn't do that because then the people who are in it for the wrong reasons really latch in. He ended up moving in with me after 6 months, and he moved from Florida to Vegas. And I helped him with the move. I went down there. I helped with everything. And then he was paying $2,000 a month for his apartment in Florida. And my mortgage here is $2,420. So we had talked about it already that we were going to just split the mortgage evenly because then he'd be paying $1,200 a month instead of $2,000 a month so he could save money. And he even loved bragging to all of our friends and his friends, completely unprompted. He would say stuff like, oh yeah, I'm going to move in with Alex and I'm going to help her with at least half of everything. I'm taking at least half of everything off of her plate. I'm helping her with at least half of all of her bills. And I thought that was kind of weird at the time, but I thought it was extra weird when after living with me for less than 2 months, he started yelling at me about how it wasn't fair that he had to pay $1,200 a month because his name wasn't on the mortgage for the house that I bought before we ever met. So he didn't want to pay 50% of the monthly mortgage payment, which we'd agreed to, and which was $800 less than what he was paying in Florida, because his name wasn't on the deed to the house. However, I paid 20% down on this house, and I'd been paying the mortgage already before we met, and we'd only been dating for about 7 or 8 months at the time. 7. And so then I was like, I know, I can't put your name on the house. So he ended up just paying me $900 a month instead to live here. What else? There was the morning that I bought him flowers and I cut them and arranged them and presented them to him, and he went, oh, that's nice. And then immediately pulled his phone out and said, this is what I want for Christmas, and showed me a picture of veneers on Instagram. Or maybe all the times that he stole stuff out of my purse or out of my cabinet that was for me because he wanted it and I need to share. But what money? Women rarely give men money, right? Have a good day. Don't be dumb like me.